So some of you here from my last video, I showed you guys how to do like wall hops and stuff. Today I'm going to show you some other things I have added to this game. So I told you in the last video, you could flick on ladders. This is basically showing that. You can just like go up ladders pretty easily by doing that. One thing I forgot to mention in the last video, almost all of these tricks work in R6. So when you're in your avatar, you could do, I'm just going to use commands. R15. Oh, come on. Alright, well, whatever the command is, it'll just make your avatar more wiggly. R6, just make it like 5 different parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then your head. There's like way more different parts in R15 than R6. Basically, so things I'm going to show you here are corner clipping. Corner clipping was removed, but there is still a way to do it. You would line yourself up in a weird position, and you would dance clip on the corner, and then you would clip through. It doesn't really work as well with these, but what it works better with is with like corners like this, where it's like slanted, where you would just line yourself up like this, dance, and then clip right through. It's really hard to pull off and isn't really recommended for like skipping things. But like, if you just want to show your friends like something cool, where you could clip inside of like an area you're not supposed to, then this will be a great way to do that. It's really hard to pull off though. You have to get like a very precise camera angle and like very precise like movement with your character, like figuring out like where to stand. But you can do it. It's just really hard. Another thing I'm showing in this video is wraparounds. So again, you want to be in shift lock for these. There are some where you could just like do it without shift lock, but once you get into like harder ones, then you'll need shift lock. You would just, so you would line yourself up to this side. If you prefer this side, that's fine. I just find it easier on this side because when you're like this, you could actually, when you're like this, it's kind of like harder to see on the other side. While when you're like this, you can clearly see the other side. You would hold D and press space and just move your mouse while holding D. Because if you just stop holding D, then you just end up out here. If you hold D, then you'll make it all the way through. And then you get the 4 stud one. Again, pretty simple. 6 stud, getting a bit harder now. I don't think you're meant to jump on top of these. Yeah, you're not meant to jump on top of these. You're just meant to wrap around. Don't try to cheat. And then we got 8 stud, which is getting a bit harder, but still pretty easy. Eventually, like when you get into like longer ones, you don't want to like line yourself up on the corner like this, where like you're barely touching. I'm using 2.0 avatar, so you're not gonna like see the exact hitbox. The exact hitbox is you're not having any body parts. You're just like fat, if you want to call it like that. And it's easier to see like where you're actually standing because those are the actual hitboxes for R6. For R15, all hitboxes are different depending on your avatar. And then you got 10 stud, which is the farthest one I have in here, because it's because it's pretty hard to get at first. But it's like I'd say 8 stud or 6 stud is like the hardest for beginners. And then maybe 8 or 10 are like the harder ones, because you really have to like learn how to go like on the corner and then make it all the way. But yeah, that's about it. Just wanted to make a part 2 showing what I added in between the videos. And yeah, there is other ways to do wall hops, but I don't recommend them. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm not saying you have to do them. I just think it's easier to do it my way, where you just like timing it. Sorry. Yeah, you can tell I'm not editing this. I'm just recording it. But yeah. So you can do this, where you you hold space and you spam shift lock, and then you'll slowly climb it. It's not really that efficient because then when you get to the top, it's like hard to time, like when you're gonna land. That's why I think it's easier just to do my way, where you're just like flicking and timing it. You can also do it with this, but it's way harder just because you can climb and you'll like jump right off. It's way easier for climbing ladders to just like flick. It's basically doing that, except you hold W all the way through. You like only let go of it for a second when you're gonna do the flick. Because if you hold W, you're not really like gonna do anything. You're gonna like fall down. It's really hard to hit if you hold W. You wanna like let go every single time you flick. But it doesn't lose any time. It just helps gain it just so that you could hit the jump and go faster. So if you and your friends ever want to race on ladders, you could just do that. And eventually, if you practice enough, you could just get good enough to do this, where you're like going all the way up practically instantly. But yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching both parts if you're coming from the second video. See you guys in the next video.